and welcome to my presentation, which is entitled Shedding Some Light on Stereoscopy. Now, one of the things I've discovered, quite accidentally almost, is how shafts of light, when you see them, when you're out and about, you think how lovely they look, but they soon change. But if you capture them in 3D, those shafts of light look almost solid. And so I've been collecting and going through my archives and looking for some that demonstrate this, and I've only found a few actually, because it's not very easy to just go out at will and say, right, today I'm going to photograph shafts of light, because the conditions have to be right, the time has to be right. Luckily, this lovely site is right next door to my house, and it was taken in the Hull General Cemetery. It's a disused cemetery now, but it was established originally in 1847. It's called General Cemetery because it's for people of any faith or denomination. It isn't linked to your religion at all. And it's one of the first cemeteries built in the UK as a result of all the parish church cemeteries being full. So this was built on what was then the outskirts of the city. It was laid out with trees, and the last burial took place in 1972. So it's now disused, and nature has very much taken over, and it's a lovely place to go for a walk and to go bird watching. So, and that was taken early one morning in August, around about 7:45. I checked the EXIF information on my original photos to just in case anybody's interested in that. The next one is the marina, and this again is in Hull, which I must explain. Hull is its official name is Pearson Park, and it's a large city of about 250,000 people in the northeast of England, not far from the east coast. And we have a lovely marina here because Hull is on two rivers, the River Hull and the River Humber, which is a very wide tidal river. And so this is the marina. It's been developed over the past 30 years or so. And it's, again, I managed to get not just the shafts of light on this one, but also the sunburst. And again, that's quite difficult to capture so that the two pictures are identical. It can shift and look a bit awkward. So hopefully this one doesn't hurt your eyes too much, the difference between the two. And that was taken in June. And that was taken at the incredibly early hour of 5:30. The good thing about the summer is, if you're prepared to get up early enough, you can get there, take some great sequential stereos without there being anybody around. So that's ideal. The last thing you want is people moving around and that you don't see at the time, but you put two images together and then you can see that movement. Right, on to the next one. And this is my local park, which is called Pearson Park. And this is a public park, the first one in Hull. It was established in 1862, and so it has plenty of open space, lovely trees. And this was late November. I wanted to get up early to capture the frost, and there was a slight mist on the ground, as you can see, and also the light came through pretty well for both the shots. So I was quite pleased with that. This is in the same park, and it shows it's described on the website as a lake, but I just call it a pond because it's not all that big. And again, the light coming through the trees there, you can see that one of the images, there's one more ray of light than the other, but I don't think it detracts too much from the scene. It's just the one at the top. I think just about get away with that, but you can see how light can illuminate everything and make quite an ordinary scene look pretty good, and especially the way it's shining on those orange coloured at the in the centre of the picture. And this is the road leading to the park being on the left of the photograph. And this is quite accidental. I was just heading into the park to do some bird watching, and I saw the light and I thought, that's nice. So luckily I always carry a camera with me, little Canon compact point and shoot one, but it has a 25 times zoom lens on it, so it's pretty good for scenes like this. And yeah, I just thought the light looked really beautiful that morning. And again, just darkening the picture very slightly when I got home and processed it. This is the one where it really makes those shafts of light look solid, as though you could reach out and touch them, but moved a little bit further away from that and they were practically gone. So it's I mean, photography is the capture of light, isn't it? And this seems to sum it up more than anything, really. And the next one is again Pearson Park. As I say, it's so nice having a park that's a 10-minute walk from my house, just down the road. And this was taken. This is an old one from about 3 years ago, and around about this time of the year, about 8 in the morning. But it's glaringly obvious that the sunburst is can only see it in one photograph and not the other one. And it's impossible to remove that. I mean, you'd need a very good processing system to remove that and make the two look identical. And of course, you would still have the fact that there was something there in a different layer, and it would still draw your eye away and irritate, I think. But I've included that as an example because I'll show you how I got around this problem. I just cropped it. And we've still got those shafts showing up against the road and the base of the tree. So that I think I probably posted that on Twitter 3 years ago when I took the picture originally. So yes, that was a very good day for light that day. And this is in Hull city centre. Again, early in the morning when there's nobody around. And this shows Guildhall Road with Queen's Gardens on the left, and that's a small park right in this heart of the city that used to be a dock. This, as I say, I wouldn't normally take a picture of this particular unremarkable road, but the way the light was coming through the buildings rather than trees and managing to get more or less the same sunburst on both images was not too bad, I suppose. But you'll notice there's a green lens flare on one of the images, and I thought I'll just leave it there because this is sequential stereos, and you can't be perfect, can you? Light and sequential and shooting into the light anyway, so I'll let that go. And again, this one, the light's coming through better on one than the other. I moved several times to try and get two that gave me the best combination of depth and obviously the light rays coming through. And I took this one on Monday this week at Soby Hall, and that's near Bridlington on the east coast. It's about an hour's train journey from where I live. And it was such a nice day. I got up early, went here and had a wander around before anybody else was on the site. And so quite pleased. This looks quite exotic for England, but the tree in the middle is a monkey puzzle tree. They don't grow naturally in England. They are imported from more exotic places, but it's a lovely park and one that we used to visit regularly in the 60s and 70s when I was a child. So it was nice reliving childhood memories and wandering around with the camera. And finally, I was originally going to call this presentation Sunburst or Sunlight, but then I thought about well, that limits me to just natural light outside. You can capture shafts of light just about anywhere, and this final one demonstrates that perfectly. This is Adam Lambert, taken during a Queen and Adam Lambert concert in Manchester back in January 2015. And concert photography is notoriously difficult with lights coming at you from all different angles. And this was taken with a Fuji W3 camera. Even with two lenses quite close together, you can still get a difference in left and right images, and sometimes it can be quite pronounced, meaning shots like this don't often work. So I think, in conclusion, I got lucky with that. So I think that's... Did you just get I probably got a fuller screen there, because I don't know what I've done there, but somehow the screen had gone back to showing the icons around the top and bottom of it. But anyway,
you hit the enter button.
Yeah, yeah. And we're back to the beginning, right? Okay. Right, and that's my presentation done. Was the speed about right, or should I have slowed down a bit, or is there anything you'd like to find out more? Oh, bless you, thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh,
that was great, Helen. Yeah, just a lot of comments in the chat. So I'll look through them now, but if anyone wants to ask Helen any questions, either on her ideas or her methods, mistakes she's made and learned from.
I'm still doing that after 8 years.
I'll just make a plug for her and say she's on Instagram, and you can see a lot more of her beautiful photos on Instagram.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't say I have any particular signature subjects. I just photograph anything, really.
They're all beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm curious. If you have a W3, why are you doing cha-chas on some of them?
Right, because believe it or not, I don't know if it comes across really well on the photos, but if I'd used a W3 for all of them, they would have just been quite flat and boring. I actually made the mistake with the W3. I bought one. I started stereophotography at the end of 2011, and a few months after that, in 2012, I bought a W3. And I had a couple of holidays in 2012, 2013, and as a result of having that 3D camera, I made the mistake of relying on it to take a lot of my holiday photos. And when I was reviewing them just recently, I was quite disappointed with the lack of depth, and I wished that I'd taken more sequential ones. So yes, it is surprising how it would have been much flatter. It's just the way that I've edited them at the bottom to try and avoid any window violations gives the impression, I suppose, that maybe it could have been taken with a 3D camera, but no, I don't carry the W3 around with me all the time, but I have a point and shoot in my handbag. A lot of women have makeup bags with them and things like that, but I have a camera. And so yeah, but I do prefer sequential stereos, because it's almost like, when in the old days when you used to have film photography and you had to take your film to be developed, and only then could you see the results of your photography. Stereophotography sequentially is the same, because you don't know what what your stereo is going to look like until you put them both side by side on the computer screen. That's you develop it. I know with the i3D steroid app on an iPhone, you can see them straight away because you can take them both and then you see it. But that's the only time when you can, I suppose. And on the W3 you've got the lenticular display. But no, I quite like going home, putting them on the computer, and then seeing if it's a success or not.
Cool.
Yes, thank you so much, Helen. Those were, as you heard from everyone else, those were amazing. Just really lovely. So thanks for taking the time to share with us. And in the chat room, you guys can check out, someone has dropped in her blog post that has been written for Stereosite, and also her Instagram page if you guys are not already following her. So those links are in the chat for you guys. I did like this comment. Someone said, I wonder how it would work on the night security floodlights at my apartment complex.
Ah, well, there you go. It's nice to be inspiring people to try this sort of thing themselves. I must admit that I feel a lot safer because being out on my own early in the morning when it's getting light. On a night time, it's different because there's more people around at night time anyway, and the place feels completely different. I mean, I wouldn't go to the park at night time. If I was trying to capture any shafts of light in an evening, it would have to be somewhere where I would feel safe. But no, I mean, floodlights, things like that, yeah, go for it. Especially if it's maybe slightly misty or rainy, maybe the light would take more form, in different weather conditions.
So